Good morning, good evening, good day, everybody. I'm Steve Farrell. I am a co-founder and the executive director of Humanities Team, and you can see on screen I've got a really marvelous, important guest with me today, Ervin Laszlo. I'm going to introduce him in just a moment. Ervin is coming in live from Tuscany, Italy. I'm coming to you live from Boulder, Colorado, and this is an important conversation that we're going to have today. So thank you for joining us. I want to just wave at you all in the studio, Humanity Stream Plus members. It's nice to have you all here with us. We've got a live audience as we're going out into the ether here, so to speak, on social media. And a big shout out to friends of Ervin Laszlo's and Upshift, Humanity Stream members, Humanities team members out on YouTube, Facebook, social media, the Sign Network. So sign.network, where you can learn more about them. And of course, that's John and Summer Raymer. And thank you all for broadcasting out to the sites that you pick up. We have, as I mentioned, an important program today. We're calling it the Great Upshift. And it is a great upshift. There is a lot happening in today's world that the media is not reporting. And we're going to get to that here during this program. Um, it's a live program, so it's going to be on the shorter side. We won't go a full hour here today, but if you do have questions and testimonies and things that you want to bring in, so be sure to get them to us earlier in the program so we can share before we end the program somewhere in the 35 to 40-minute range. Okay, let me formally introduce Ervin Laszlo here as we get started. And boy, this is quite a resume. So stay with me as I read this introduction for Ervin. He's an amazing person doing incredible work and has been for decades here on planet Earth. So here we go. Ervin Laszlo is founder and director of the Laszlo Institute of New Paradigm Research based in Italy, founder and president of the Club of Budapest, fellow of the World Academy of Art and Science, member of the Hungarian Academy of Science and of the International Academy of Philosophy of Science, senator of the International Medici Academy, and editor of the international periodical World Futures, the Journal of New Paradigm Research. He is the recipient of the Goy Peace Prize, the International Mander of Peace Prize, the Canacreus Holistic Culture Prize, the Ethics Prize of Milan, and the Luxembourg World Peace Prize. Laszlo is honorary citizen of the city of Buenos Aires and honorary professor of the Buenos Aires Institute of Technology and holds honorary PhDs from the United States, Canada, Finland, and Hungary. He is the author or co-author of 101 books translated into 24 languages. Laszlo was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize in 2004 and 2005. So, how do you like that? Welcome again to the program, Ervin. And I know you have some opening comments that you want to share as we get started.
Dear Steve, thank you for this introduction. It is always a pleasure to be on the program with Steve Farrell, one of the heroes that I have in the communications world. We are all joining together in trying to understand what is this world like and what we can do about it, to live in it, to perhaps to improve it, and not just to face with a puzzle. Why is it here? So one of the biggest questions that have ever been asked is, why is there something rather than nothing? I would add to that to say, why is there something which evolves, which changes? We seem to have had a beginning and is heading toward a final state that we can barely see, but we can assume that it exists. Why is there evolution in this world? And how can we be part of that evolution? That I think is the greatest challenge to understand today. This is a world that can be understood. We have so many ways of measuring, of testing, so many ways of talking about it. But the key element of this world is that it is,
Yearning,
sorry, just a minute,
yearning, evolution,
it is what?
holotropic.
That it is holotropic, yes. Sorry. I'm using words now that I'm introducing.
Yes, Stein.
What's the other word?
The yearning, the yearning.
Yearning, thank you.
Yes.
Yes, I used a special term here, and my kind wife is helping me for it. If the world is yearning, I maintain, and I'm willing to expose this to your scrutiny, that the universe as we know it is evolving, and this evolution is not by chance. This evolution follows a definite pattern. It follows a yearning, an invitation, a tropism. You know what a tropism is? A tropism is when something is being invited to become something, to move toward, to be challenged, to become part of. We seem to have a tropism for evolution, for wholeness. I use here wholeness and oneness and interchangeable. A whole universe is a one universe, and a universe that is truly one is whole, it has no parts. So let's get right into the business. What
Yeah.
do I tell you, am I telling you, is this universe like? And why is it evolving? How is it evolving? Where is it evolving to? Start with the beginning. This universe was born 15.37 billion years ago, and it has been evolving ever since. This evolution is following a pattern. It is from the simplest possible systems to chaos, from chaos to higher levels of order and discrimination. This is an evolution from chaos to cosmos, as the Greeks would say. We are evolving with it. We are part of this tremendous evolution of moving forward toward higher levels of integration, oneness, and wholeness in this world. The universe was not always like this. But we can assume that as we now know from astrophysical data, that the universe has a finite life, has a finite lifespan. It has so much territory that it has, and it has so much time that it has. All of this is being given to us because the universe is moving from a oneness, unlimited condition to a limited and higher resonant condition. We are moving in a direction of coherence. It doesn't seem like this today, that our world, at least on this earth, is moving towards coherence. But underneath it, there is a movement where we become more and more joined to each other, more and more aligned necessarily. Otherwise, we cannot survive here. And in this universe as a whole seems always to be holotropic, to have a tropism for wholeness and oneness. The great mystery is how this is happening. I suggest to you that it is happening because the universe was a whole, was one before the Big Bang occurs. The Big Bang entered into a universe that was totally coherent, that did everything and connected everything that there was to connect, and it connected sensitively. Everything responded to everything else. This is what we mean by coherence. We can talk about supercoherence, where there is nothing that would not be totally coherent in front of us. And this universe of supercoherence is moving toward us. We humans are moving in this universe toward more and more coherence. But, and it's a big breath, but at the Big Bang, this coherence was destroyed. The universe was no longer totally coherent. It was coherent only partially, if at all. And now the universe, this sensitive whole system, this one system, is faced with a partially mutilated condition, with a condition in which wholeness can only be maintained by artificial means. I'm telling you that the evolution that we witness and of which, in the best of cases, we are a part of, is an evolution toward coherence, higher and higher levels of coherence. The more we are coherent, the more we are connected with each other, and the more words and ideas like love and belonging are gain relevance. This seems to be a totally optimistic view. It's not. I'm telling you, it's optimistic only insofar as there is something in the universe which pushes us toward higher levels of coherence. This something is evolution, and this something is actually could be described as a yearning. I use a big term, but it's a poetic term, well-founded. The universe is yearning for oneness, yearning for wholeness. And its individual elements, of course, are the ones who yearn. But the universe as a whole is a tropism, is a movement toward wholeness, toward wholeness.
This is
Everything
probably
takes
a
place.
good place for me to come in, Ervin.
And
This,
until now, I'll just finish this one thought. Everything that takes from the Big Bang until today is part of the evolution of the universe to higher levels of coherence. If we join it, we do well. If we try to oppose it, we just become frustrated. Thank you, Steve, for allowing me to say these few words in advance.
yeah, no, thank you. And I think you set the table well that evolution and the vision that you're describing, as we know, science is affirming, right? This cohesion, this
Okay.
evolution, this toward higher complexity, higher consciousness. These are Teilhard de Chardin, so many years ago, talked about these very same things. Scientists today are affirming that this is true. Evolution is moving in this order, in this direction toward, as you mentioned, higher order, cohesion. And then you're bringing in this aspect of us individually that there's something we're yearning for, that we're feeling into this ourselves. We're a part of this wholeness, this oneness, and there's a great yearning to live into it, isn't there?
Absolutely, yes. This is the secret of how to join, how to be part of this evolution, which defines the universe. This is an evolving holotropic universe. Remember this term, this idea. We are part of a holotropic universe, and we seem to disregard it in a daily action and acting as evolution. Evolution is an open system that where anything goes. Actually, where evolution goes well is when it's directed in the direction of higher levels of coherence. Then we are part of it. Then we move with the field. That is the secret of living well on this planet.
And let me bring this in, Urban, that the why does it matter is uh, where we are not living into the wholeness and the oneness, where we think we're separate. This is the basis for the great challenges in the world. Einstein and Bohm and Schrodinger, there are many scientists up that have come before that have shared this whole illusion of separation as the bait. It creates this prison for us, right? That we live into where we care for only those closest to us. And but when we embrace this, uh, not only spirituality, but what science is affirming, this almost perfect bridge, holotropic universe, oneness, wholeness, diversity, and unity. When we start living into it, this is when our heart starts to sing. This is the yearning thing, isn't it?
We are rewarded if we go join with the universe, with the direction of evolution, and the universe becomes, and it becomes increasingly coherent and friendly to life, adapted to life. Life, as we know it, a higher order coherent life, is part of the development, part of space and time. Just the same way as space-time is not flat and Euclidean, as scientists would say, it is curved. It is curved in such a way that it develops more and more coherence, more and more connection between one thing, one part, and another part. This connection is what is for us to find and to develop, to become part of the others. It's not difficult to conceive because everything is complex. Everything is at least minimally connected. Now, a conscious human being has the task to sit up and take note and make connection consciously, conscious, and bring us, humanity, into the planet.
Now, there's so many things I want to get to in this short space of time. One is on Humanity Stream Plus, and all of you in the studio are Stream Plus community members. Ervin, of course, has created this whole Great Upshift Conversations area, right? There are all of these programs that Ervin has created on Humanity Stream Plus, where he's interviewed fascinating, important leaders in the world. Neil Donald Walsh just being one of them. There are many, many leaders that uh, Ervin has interviewed. And again, these interviews are right here on this platform. Do you want to talk a little bit about these conversations that you've been having for the last year, Ervin?
It's called the Upshift Conversations. And I'm inviting people who are concerned about the human condition and what we can do about it to come and join us for half a 40-minute conversations openly. What is this world like? What can we do about it? And here, what I'm distilling out of it is the recognition that this world is an evolving world. If you don't take its evolution seriously as part of it, you don't understand what it is. We are part of a movement, of a wave, of a great movement, great upshift challenge. We can block it, but we do it at our own cost. What is really happening is that this evolution is occurring, even though many factors are trying to block it. Short-sightedness. What is good for us is necessarily what is good for the whole system. There are no separateness. There is no separateness in the universe. Everything we do, everything we think we aspire to, must be coherent with everything else. This emphasis on coherence is because even life is possible only when we are coherent. And the higher forms of life have higher forms of coherence. So remember, this is not a passive universe. This is not a universe where everything has equal chances and equal welcomeness. This is a universe that welcomes, that invites wholeness and oneness in expression and in being. We are part of this evolution. And it is a great satisfaction for those who ride this wave, that this wave is unfolding. It doesn't seem like it on the surface, but beneath it all, more and more people are now connected, obviously, through artificial intelligence as well as other forms of technology. But they are connected also because we are thinking alike. We are beginning to think together. What I think affects what you think, and what you think affects and shapes what everyone else around us thinks. So we are getting connected, but the connection has to be not just flat, not just anything goes. The connection has to be to move us to integration, not just putting us together side by side, but to integrate us so that we can together form systems, a system that seem to be at the very bottom of the evolutionary challenge, at the very basic matter of integration, integrating one thing to another, so that we can together form higher and higher level systems. The universe is a high level system, and has been destroyed. This coherence has been partially destroyed by the Big Bang. It is now becoming reintegrated. The universe is not by chance that here. We are here to be part of a tremendous process of realignment, of rejoining each other. And this is what the reality of today's world, coming together again to becoming whole and becoming part, becoming a total system again. The universe can do this, and it's up to us to join us to be part of it.
So let me
Steve,
bring this in just to draw the contrast. Most of us grew up with a completely different understanding, right? That Newtonian, we're all separate from each other, from the earth, from God, from the universe. That we're not brought up with this notion of impact, ripples of impact that we're having on others. We're brought up with this notion that whatever we do is just sort of isolated to whatever we do. It doesn't have impact on others. And the whole Darwinian thing, at least the part that's being promoted, which is that we just got to go out and get our material goods, manifest reality, in luxury and so on. Most of us are brought up that way. What we're talking about here now in this wholeness, this oneness, this holotropic universe, this universe where everything is impacting everything, it's a completely different, this is ultimate reality. It is what is so today. And it's a completely different reality than the one that we grew up in and we were schooled in. And it's why it's so important in today's world, because when we look out the window today, we see challenges that most of us don't like. We have kids and they're future generations, and we want them to inherit a sustainable and flourishing earth. Now, when we live into what we're talking about here, as Ervin's going into this holotropic universe that's come with increasing complexity, growing cohesion, growing consciousness, and these things, where we see our ripples of impact, then not only do we have a beautiful life, a delicious life, but we steward the earth better. We steward each other better. We become more open-hearted. We become more in service. That's what living into wholeness and oneness naturally is.
This is a
So
dynamic that I keep saying. This is a dynamic, wholeness-oriented universe. If you remember that, then when all the puzzles that face us can be resolved, because this movement is something which is ultimately our salvation, our future, the future of all life on Earth and wherever on in the universe it occurs, because the universe is moving dynamically. This impetus, this integration is only one element has been missing until lately: consciousness. We have to become conscious of this process. And if we are conscious of the process, then we know what it is that we need to join. We need to join an integral holotropic universe. That is not, you can't emphasize this too much. Then things start to make sense. We are not here by chance, and this universe is not evolving by chance. We are evolving together toward each other, non-linearly, yes, and this temporary deletion and problems and fallbacks, yes, reversals even. But underneath it all, there is a joining of people together, becoming aware of living on planet Earth, and that we are inhabitants, joint, common, shared inhabitants of this planet. And becoming a conscious inhabitant of it is what can make this planet a flowering system instead of an area of conflict and tragedy. Thanks for raising this possibility of this, discussing these issues, Steve. Extremely important. We have to revise the way we have been educated. It's not your fault and not my fault. We have been taught this Darwinian, old-fashioned Newtonian ideas. Everything is separate, and you have only to look at for yourself. We can't be separate from others. We are brought together on a planet, and the more we realize this, the more we act with it, the more we go with it, become part of it, the happier we are, and the better it is for everybody around us, for our children and grandchildren, and our surroundings, and our markets, and our members. This is a universe in which we join together in the next step toward creating systems that are wholes, systems that where each element interacts with all the other elements, not just heaps, not just aggregates, but integrated systems. This is the universe creativity. We can go with it, or we can try to oppose it. If we oppose it, we'll create more and more problems for us and for those around us. But we're beginning to wake up. And thanks to you, Steve, and people like yourself and your program and humanities team, we are beginning to realize our oneness, our wholeness on this planet. And we're beginning to know that this is a finite planet not born by chance, not here purely by mistake. We are here for a purpose, to fulfill a role, to reintegrate ourselves in this holotropic universe. A great chance. It makes me optimistic because more and more people are realizing this chance, this awareness, this consciousness uh, challenge that we are facing. And more people are asking, how can we join? We are trying on a message, on the series of programs that you mentioned, Steve, on the Upshift Conversations platform. We are trying to ask people, how do you think about living on this planet? How can we join the evolutionary upshift that is occurring, recognizing that it is occurring and that we are part of it? We only have to be conscious of it. This is a great chance. This is a great important element, recognizing why we are here, what we can do about it. We can promote coherence, promote oneness, promote togetherness, consciously promoting it. It is already occurring naturally, but picking it up consciously and making it, running with it is the great challenge that we face, is the opportunity we have to create a better world, a planet worthy of this tremendous gift of life on this part of the universe.
And the wonderful thing is there's no better way to live than, and yes, it's good for the collective, as Ervin is sharing, and this what we call a conscious living in the humanities team. It goes by many descriptions, but there's no better way to live than living into this wholeness, this oneness, and that it's dynamic, as Ervin shares, means that we're having impact. It's not static, it's a world that is dynamic, and our actions, our expressions, are ripples of impact out in the world. So these things that we do with an open heart, that we do in service, as we start living into this wholeness and oneness, one, it feels so good. And two, it's just exactly what the planet needs when we talk about our kids and future generations and creating a sustainable planet. Let me share, there's a documentary coming out soon on Ervin Laszlo's life, and we're planning to broadcast the documentary when it's available and have Ervin come in and do some live question and answer with it. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be really pretty cool as that becomes available.
Let me just add a light beyond the box. This is the scheduled title of this documentary. I tried to live, and I managed to live, I think, for most of my life, what you might call beyond the box, not boxed in by new received ideas, by preconceptions, by things that I was told to do or believe in. Try to think openly. What is it really the case? What do we do? How do we live? What is this world really like? These are questions that when you ask them, you are beyond the box, beyond the everyday limitations of thinking. Think freely, think creatively, allow your intuitions, your impacts to develop and become what you are meant to become, a free agent contributing to the growing coherence of the universe, evolving from the Big Bang's chaos toward a state which we can describe then futuristically as supercoherence. We are far from it, but that's the direction we move. Coherence of everything with everything else, and from the smallest atom to the largest galaxy. We are moving forward to join each other, holding hands, becoming one in this universe.
Yes, and again, so many scientists. I was mentioning Einstein, Bohm, Schrodinger, and others that really were more known as spiritual leaders. Teilhard de Chardin, he was actually a scientist too. This is affirming all of these things that Ervin is talking about. And Ervin's long body of work here um, is sharing how in our contemporary world why this is so important. And in the introduction that I was sharing, things like Club of Budapest. You all may or may not know the Club of Budapest. It is a massively impactful world organization that Ervin has been part of, where you've got people, Desmond Tutu, Mandela, just great, great leaders that on this planet that have been part of it. And so we thank you and congratulate you for the work that you've been doing and that really your life is devoted to, Ervin. One thing to my partners here, there's Jim Gray and Garth Catterall are sort of the producers here. I wonder if we could play just one of these little 2-minute videos from these great shift conversation series. Again, Ervin's done on Stream Plus. We've got all of these incredible interviews, including with Neil Donald Walsh, who's one of our co-founder. Um, so, Jim, let me know if we can play one of those little short videos. It'd be kind of fun to do it if we can. And if not, Ervin and I have lots of things we can cover here. So,
Just
uh,
to tell you that we are now ready to play 52 different of these interviews, one a week for a whole year. And if you want to see some of them, you can subscribe to them. Each one is individual of the other. None of the guests knew about the other. They all talked about their own ideas, their own words. And if you wish, you can look at it into the privacy of your own home or together with your friends. Upshift Conversations by Ervin Laszlo. Keep it in mind. I hope you join it, you look at it and you let me have your feedback, how we can make these conversations not just more, but also more to the point and more convincing, more to the idea, more serving the idea that whatever we do, we either go down in chaos or we move up towards integration and oneness. I think we are moving toward coherence. That is the plan. Consciously accelerate this movement. That is the challenge before us.
yeah, it's interesting. Archaeologists and paleontologists. What is shared is that they just their view is too myopic. It's too much just on fossils and rocks and things, and the camera isn't pulled back to see the wider unfolding of evolution, which is what Ervin's talking about, where when you pull the camera back, so to speak, and look at over time the evolution of this planet, what we see are all these things that Ervin is bringing in that up until now archaeologists and paleontologists have not brought in. That there is growing complexity, order, evolution, higher consciousness. These are things we can see as you look at the unfolding of reality of the earth from its beginning to today. And the good news is it's a very optimistic story because it brings in Teilhard de Chardin called it the omega point that which is what Ervin's talking about here, this wholeness, this oneness, this holotropic universe. That's the same thing. That's where the creator and created know themselves as one. There is no separation where we're living into that. And this is an Ervin saying, we're yearning for it. We can see it. And isn't it true? I mean, for all of us on the screen, and all of us watching this program, isn't it true that we are yearning for this connection and this coherence and this I'll bring in service and open-heartedness that is part of living this way. It is something that we yearn
I
for.
would go as far as to say that evolution is our yearning. Our yearning is the evolution because we are want to move forward, want to move in a direction when we encompass all people on this whole planet. We would encompass all life on the universe if we could reach it directly. As it is, we can reach it with our mind. But around us here, we are active agents. And this means that we can make sure that whatever we do is consistent and coherent with other things that are happening around us. Not to make do only with negative things, with crime, with violence, but to find the positive aspect. If you step outside for a moment, outside of this planet, and ask what is happening here with humanity, I think the conclusion you would come to, despite of all the challenges and misunderstandings and violence even, there is a positive movement. There's a movement where more and more people are joining a dialogue, not just my dialogue, but our dialogues on Earth about this. That's all that serious, well-meaning people can ask and can hold forth a dialogue to find out the direction in which we are moving. The direction is more and more people coming together, humanity finally becoming organized on this planet, becoming an inhabitant of this planet. With all the problems, always the solution is shake hands, join together, and even former enemies are becoming gradually aware of this. No other way to live but living in harmony, in symphony, in understanding. That is rewarding. Rewarded by you living a happier life, doing more good in the world.
And the
Con-
beautiful thing is that this is our basic nature. And in these conversations, these upshift conversations, Ervin talks to not Lynn Twist, but maybe her too, but Lynn, based out of England, and the Bruce Lipton and Greg Braden, who bring in these things that we are, our basic nature actually is goodness, is collaboration. It's not competition, right?
we
This
are
is
not well, we are not here by chance, Steve. I mean, not here by chance, and we are not here to oppose a trend. We are here to promote it. A conscious species on this planet can must use its consciousness to promote a one planet, is one life emerging in it, greater diversity, greater connection between us and nature, us and the universe, us and our next door neighbor. This is a possibility. If we used to dream about it, and now we can say, we can now realize that this is good science. This is a good understanding. We are part of a holotropic universe, which either becomes one or it goes down the drain. I see becoming one despite of the problems, despite of the disunity. On the whole, people come to realize we must become one with each other, with nature, and with the universe. This is our future. This is why we are here.
And the beautiful thing is we already are all one. We're just not living into it. So we're not even creating something new. We're just living into ultimate reality. And of course, everybody in humanities team knows we've been calling this the Galileo moment for years because it's just it's much like the back in the early 1700s when Galileo revealed that the Earth was not the center of the universe. We thought it was. We were living as though it was, but it was not. And likewise, we're not separate from each other or the Earth or God or the universe. We're just not. It is whole. It is one. And now we're just simply awakening to that understanding and living into it. It is Lynn Twist. I was just looking, Lynn Twist, Bill Strickland. Um, there are lots of amazing guests that I think Bruce Lipton was in there.
Yeah.
Uh, these 52 conversations that are part of this Upshift conversation series is amazing. And I want to just put in a plug. I have a son who's 23, and he came over last night and wanted to watch a movie. And most movies these days are mindless, where you watch one of these conversations with Ervin and these incredible leaders, and they're stunning. There's so much wisdom. There's so much reality, and impact that we can have living into this wisdom. So
Well, Steve, it's not difficult to live into it. We just have to open up a little bit our mind. You know, what we've been taught in school is not necessarily the basic and best concept. The basic and best concept is that we are here together. You recognize this, then we'll do well. This I can promise you. And it makes sense, and everybody can understand it. It's a complex universe which is working from chaos 13 billion years ago to the current state of cosmos. Cosmos is order and organization, not rigid order, but an emergent order which manifests always greater and greater connection and dynamic movement forward. A wonderful, living, dynamic universe, a holotropic world. That is our home, our place in this universe. Let's occupy it with pleasure and let's reap the benefits for us, for our children, for our grandchildren. Living on such a universe is rewarding. It can be great. As it has been tried. It is being tried all the time. Now we can do it ourselves. We can be ourselves, the ones who try, who make it go, who run it, a universe in which everybody's voice is heard, everybody's voice is affects everyone else, and there is nobody excluded. Nature operates like that. Nature is holistic. We need to be that ourselves. As part of nature, we can bring this to a higher level, a conscious level, the great challenge, the great opportunity. Join it.
Ervin, I know we're running out of time and it's late back there in Tuscany, Italy, where you are. Do you want to just share a call to action? I know you believe that we can and we will create this live into this beautiful planet that it can be. Do you have a final call to action for viewers?
Very matter of fact, logical things, simple things. Whenever you undertake something, ask yourself, does this include all the participants, all those who are concerned? Or is this focused uniquely on one thing? It is not true that this world, this one place on the planet, is the privileged one. We're all together on it. So ask yourself, does this include everybody and all things? Life is part of this planet, just as humanity is. Life on a higher, more complex level is humanity writ large. So ask yourself, are we moving forward in tandem, in unison? We are living on a small planet. Now, more and more billion people living on it. But still, we must live in a way that everybody is included. Ask yourself, is my action, is my behavior beneficial to others around us, to others wherever they are? If you can answer yes, go ahead, do it. If not, ask yourself, how can I be more attuned to this universe, more attuned so that I benefit all people around me? Then the system will flower and we will flower with it. We are part of the system.
Beautiful. I love it. And again, I'll just bring back that where we ask ourselves these questions and live into this wholeness, this oneness, this cohesion, into this service. There's nothing that feels better. I mean, so I just start there where and we're all gathered here because we're already living consciously, all of us, right? But what Urban's inviting us to do is stretch into it a little more into is helping others, supporting the world around us, nurturing life a little more. And that's how, one, we create a beautiful life for ourselves. And two, that's the tipping point where 8 to 10% of us are living this way. And we have this lighter footprint on the planet. And it's a more loving, connected, caring, sustainable, flourishing planet simply by virtue of living this way. So nothing lost and everything gained, right, Urban?
Never has a truer word been spoken. Steve, wonderful how you can put this in simple terms. I'm an optimist, but not a blind optimist. I'm a possibilist. I think there are possibilities. And basically, I'm optimist really because I think basically we are good. We are connection abled. We are holotropic ourselves. Remember that. Not by chance that we are on this planet and that we're moving forward. Despite of the violence, despite of the misunderstandings and of the wars, there is a movement forward. We are connecting with more people. We are asking ourselves, are we part of a larger community? How can we create larger communities, more intense communities, deeper communities? That we can do that. And just ask yourself, am I acting as someone who is part of a holotropic universe? or acting somebody who is just a part of one's own skin and bones and one's own nation or state or ambience is of some kind. We are part of the whole humanity evolving on Earth. Humanity evolving. That is the key. And it evolves all over the world, all over the planet, all over all conscious beings, becoming whole, becoming conscious. I wish you could promote this. I think that you're here, you're listening. You may be skeptical at some points, but I think on the whole you feel that the way forward is by becoming holotropic, being attracted to wholeness. That is the only way forward.
So I know Jim Gray just shared he can play a clip for us. You may need to drop, Ervin, and if so, feel free. Let's go ahead and play this clip so viewers can see one of these conversations. This is the Great Upshift conversation series that Ervin and I have been talking about. I want to go ahead and play that clip. And again, Ervin, you were happy with whatever. If you need to sign off, that's okay.
Thank you, Steve. I'm perfectly happy being your guest. It's a perfect holotropic experience.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for your life work, Ervin. Oh my God, you are an amazing citizen of planet Earth, and we are grateful for you. Okay, we're going to cut away to a little video clip here so you can see what one of these conversations here that Ervin has. There are 52 of them in this space on Humanity Stream Plus. And
I'm not my body. I'm not my mind. I am that which has a body and a mind, and I'm using these as instruments with which to declare and announce, express and fulfill, become and experience, demonstrate my true nature as unconditional love, my true nature as divinity. Because, and here's the big one. Ready for this? Because death does not exist. I will never die. I will simply change my identity. I asked God, what is this thing called death? What is death? Give it to me in one sentence. God said, I'll tell you in one sentence simply. Death is simply a process of re-identification. Death is simply a process by which you suddenly realize once again who you really are. And you move from one sphere, from the physical sphere, to another sphere, the metaphysical sphere, what I call the spiritual realm. And you're reunited once again with the highest and grandest notion you ever held about who you really are. Now, there's a way to get to that place without having to die. You don't have to go through a process called death. We can create heaven on earth. We were designed to create it, but it's up to you. It's up to us. God isn't going to do it for us. God isn't going to wave a magic wand and make everything better tomorrow. God is saying, you know what? I've given you free will. You have the opportunity to do that, beginning here, beginning right now. And so my invitation to you, my dear friends, watching this podcast, pay attention to how you are today, how you move through the world, what you think and what you say and what you do. Does it have coherence? And by coherence, my definition means, in my world, coherence means that your true nature and your present expression become one. Why do you think that we do this when we pray? Because we see physically what we're doing. I'm taking who I think I am and who I actually am, and I bring it together in the center. And I meld my own limited ideas with my unlimited awareness and become one with myself and then with you.
very powerful. This is just one of 52 guests that Ervin hosts in this series that's called the Great Upshift series, and it's on Humanities Stream. So wasn't that amazing? I mean, that was inspiring. Of course, that was Neil Donald Walsh, who's an important co-founder of Humanities Team and one of our key partners and friends and colleagues. And that was stunning, Ervin. And of course, you've got 52 programs like that.
Yes, indeed. And it's your programs, everybody's programs. It's the programs for humanity. Humanity's team is humanity's dream, and humanity's dream is humanity's realization. We can create ourselves as a planetary species, as a conscious species, working, living, thriving on this planet.
And as we wrap, let me just bring in, again, what is important here in today's world. Most people are concerned, right? There's lots of challenges. What we are talking about here is the remedy. This is the antidote. This is the way that we create these amazing, beautiful, peaceful lives. And it's the way that we then become more open-hearted, become in service, and start nurturing life around us, which creates this sustainable and flourishing world for our kids and future generations. So you will see in Humanities Team in the Global Oneness Summit this year, and then two summits that'll come behind it. One that is going to talk about AI as a productivity aid, but where we make sure that AI is not encroaching on the sovereignty of our body or this oneness or wholeness. And then another summit that we're creating called Citizen of Planet Earth, that's saying, a lot of people feel we're on a one-way train to danger right now, right? But all of us can stand up. All of us can have a voice. That's what Ervin and I have been talking about. We can live into this uh, conscious reality, into this wholeness and this oneness. And it is not this train does not have to go to this uh, bad destination. It can go to a beautiful destination for our kids and for future generations. So, of course, Humanities Team, we're a nonprofit 501(c)(3). This is the whole reason we're here, is to create beautiful lives and a beautiful future. And Ervin, as we wrap up, again, I want to just come back. I want to thank you. You are maybe the most impactful leader that's come along in the world in terms of elevating in our contemporary world these issues of raising consciousness, of upshift, of living into this wholeness and this oneness. And we couldn't be more grateful for you.
Well, Steve, we are doing a marvelous job on enabling people to join together and to look at what we have produced already and to come together to produce some more of it. No pre-established scenarios. Let your heart speak. Let your mind open up. What you say can be, when it's open, it's coherent with what I say, with what we all say. At bottom, we are coherent with each other. That is a true the oneness that speaks from us, out of us. You are making it speak, have been doing that for decades, and I and all human beings who follow us, follow our in enterprise on this planet, we joined, we testified to. We are really indebted to you, Steve, and to your partners. I'm dedicating the humanities, rather the upshift conversations, to collaboration with Humanities Team and with you, as we have been doing. Let's do it consciously. Let's do it ever more thoroughly. We all benefit.
And we look forward to having you back, Ervin, with your documentary when it's complete and doing a question and answer. So everybody here on screen and all of you out on social media, stay tuned. We look forward to having Ervin back. And so as we wrap this cohesion that Neil was bringing using prayer, right? Our perceived reality and our true reality that we're bringing together in cohesion, in oneness, in prayer. And so love and peace and blessings to you, Ervin. Have a great evening. Thank you for joining us today. And viewers, thank you for making time to be here with us. And for those of you that are Stream Plus members, tomorrow at the same time, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 noon Eastern, I'm doing my viewing party on my masterclass. That's Higher Self, Higher Purpose, Unlock the Power Within. So be sure to join us for that. Okay, thank you, everybody. Love and peace and blessings. Thank you, Ervin. Hugs
Thank
and
you, Steve.
hugs to you and your family.